to my channel. I want to thank each and every one of you that follows me here on YouTube and on my Snapchat and my Instagram and my Twitter and Facebook and everything. Even Twitter, I've got like no one there. But you guys have encouraged me and inspired me to keep going with this YouTube thing. So in honor of that, I'm going to do my very first story time. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably looking at the title and thinking, clickbait. Clickbait. Yes, I have used words that are going to attract you to watch the video, but I really do believe that I came into contact with someone who had really bad intentions, and if I hadn't have listened to my gut, I don't know if I would be here today to tell this story. And if by the end of this video you don't agree with me, you can tell me why in the comments. Now, before I start this story time, I want to let you guys know that I think this is a really great one to start with, because as you know, if you follow me, I am like a huge advocate for travel. Travel is my main passion in life, except for laughing. And travel is the reason I started performing, because I wanted to get paid to travel. It's something that has motivated all of my life since I was really young, and it is something that will give you the best education, in my opinion. It's something that you can learn more about the world and more about yourself in a way that is just unparalleled. There's really no other way you can get the same things out of traveling that you do unless you actually just get out and fucking go. But travel does not come without its risks, and especially as a woman, or actually as anyone who's not white, cis, male, heterosexual human, it can be really dangerous. I know that as a woman traveling, you do have a lot of extra things you've got to worry about, and this story is something where I did my research because I was really trying to be safe and I didn't want to be naive and get caught in a bad situation. And even with all that research, I really came close to like, this was a really scary situation for me, even though I dodged that massive bullet and nothing physically happened to me. So I wanted to put this out as my first story time, because as much as traveling is like the best thing ever that you can ever do, and side note, I'm gonna make a bunch of travel advice videos because like traveling's my thing and I really want to inspire and motivate you guys to get out there and travel. But anyway, here is the story of the time I almost got into a car with a serial killer. This is the time when I first ever moved to London, which was my first time moving outside of Australia permanently. And this was 9 years ago, I think. This was 2007. Yes, 9 years ago. And I moved to London and I didn't know anyone. Going to London for me was like a big event in my life that I knew for years. Like, I've got to go to London. I've got to move. I've got to move. I've got to move to London, because I knew like something was going to happen. And like my life totally changed after I moved there. But so this was a huge event. So I was really nervous. I was really excited. I didn't have any friends in London. I didn't know anyone. I had like a chunk of money in my account and that was it. I just like went. And I remember reading that you've got to be careful what taxis you get into when you go to London, because there are unregistered taxis that, you know, you don't really know who these people are, and like they might be safe, but there's been reports of people having bad experiences or kind of like going missing, and they assume they got into one of these unmarked, unregistered taxis, so they're cheaper, but don't do it. And I remember I had researched all about this and I was like, I'm not going to get into like a dodgy taxi. And there's actually a taxi service called Ladyline, I think, in London, that is a taxi service run only by women, so that when women get into the cab they feel safe. Which, side note, anyone who thinks we don't need feminism or that feminism means we hate men, is not the fucking point. The fact that we need to have a taxi company that is only run by women so that we feel safe that we're not going to get raped or assaulted or fucking driven to a dark alley. Ugh! Okay, sorry, just like had to get that out there. I think what had happened was the time that I arrived into Heathrow was so late or early in the morning or something. They didn't work 24 hours at that stage at least. So I couldn't get a Ladyline, and I had just kind of been like, well, I'll figure it out when I get there. When you're moving overseas for the first time and you're like, what was I, like 21 or 22 or something, it's pretty like crazy and there's a lot going on. It's a long flight and I was so excited. I remember I got to Heathrow and I was like, I'm in England. Yes, I'm gonna have a British accent in 2 weeks. And I was just like so excited because I really wanted to escape Australia. I didn't like living there. And I was like, I did it, I've succeeded, I'm at Heathrow, you know. And I remember I got out of the terminal and this like really nice, normal looking guy was kind of in the taxi area as you're leaving, and I'd gotten like a SIM card and stuff, and he was like, hey, you need a taxi, we've got taxis over here as well. And I don't know what it was about the situation. Maybe I was just so overwhelmed with being excited, or maybe he just seemed so like nice and normal, and he was just so friendly, and the way he approached me was really chill. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, like let's do that. He seems like legit. And I know saying that now just seems ridiculous after I'd like actually researched this whole thing. But anyway, this is how easy it is to kind of forget what you've told yourself or what you've learned, because you can get overwhelmed with the situation. So I start walking with this guy. Everything seems really like chill and nice, and he was asking me about my flight. And we start walking, we kind of leave the terminal, and like we leave and we start walking towards like a normal car park. And this is the first, I mean, I get goosebumps just remembering it. This was the first kind of like, hang on a minute, why would we be going to like a normal, I just got this feeling of like, I wonder if we're gonna turn and go to like a taxi area, or like no. And then we just like kept walking, and we just kept walking. It was like a normal public car park with like families and people arriving and just getting in their cars and going. It was just like a normal car park with a normal car. He was just some guy with a car. And this was where I started getting like, I don't know about this, and I'm getting a weird feeling in my stomach now. And we started walking towards the car, and I started feeling a bit like, I don't know if this is right. This is just like a normal car park. Is this just a guy with like a car? And we walked over to his car, and he like unlocked the car and popped the boot. I had my 2 suitcases in my hands, and he like reached over to take one of the suitcases off of me to put it in the open boot. And there was just something inside of me that was like, say something, question this, say something. And I was like, I think maybe I should get like one of the normal cabs. And he was just like, why? I was like, I just, you know, I think I'm a new traveler and I should just be like super cautious and take one of the normal cabs. And the energy like totally changed. He was like, well, I don't want to do anything to you. I just want to take you home. And it was just like, every cell in my body was just screamed, run. It would just instantly, it was like, get as far away from this human being as you possibly can. And his car became this like area of like, do not get any closer to the car, do not let your suitcase get into the car. I remember I was standing there, I was like 1.5 meters, 2 meters away from the car, and he was in between me and the boot. And I just remember feeling like, oh my God, I'm so close. You need to get distance from the car away. You need to not let your belongings go into that car. Actually, I just remember that when this was all happening, not only did I want to back away from his car, but the inside of his car, all of a sudden I got this overwhelming feeling that like something really bad has happened in there. And my mouth started watering and I felt sick, and the inside of his car just gave me this feeling of something bad happening. It was just, this was running through my mind, and all of a sudden the situation became really intense. Like we were on a deserted highway somewhere and there was no help to be found, and if I didn't make the right choice I'd be like cut up into little pieces. It was intense. Like there was people around. I was in the airport and there was people coming and going to the car park, but I couldn't really understand any of that. I was just so like looking at my suitcases and looking at the car, and he just was like, I don't want to do anything to you, I just want to take you home. It was just like so scary. I started backing up really slowly, like naturally, without even thinking, kind of trying that they wouldn't notice, like you would do with a predator. It was so weird, and I was like, I just think it's just like a smart thing for me to do as a young traveler alone, is like to just get this other taxi. And he like took out his inhaler because he started like hyperventilating and having an asthma attack. And the fact that he was freaking out so much, just every part of my body was screaming, run, like run away from this human being as fast as you possibly can. I don't want to do anything to you, I just want to take you home. Oh, and it was just he kept repeating it, and it was, oh my god, I'm feeling weird. It was just awful, and I just was like, oh my god, the inside of his car just made my skin crawl all of a sudden, and I just needed to put space in between me and that car, and my skin was crawling, and the idea of being close to that car or getting inside of that car just made me feel like I was gonna vomit. Like there was something really strong reaction in me, and I just started backing away more and more, and I was like, I'm sorry. And then as soon as I got like out of, I don't know what kind of distance from him, I just turned around and walked super fast, like power walked away. And every time someone walked past me to go into the car park, I was like, oh, okay, there's people around, it's fine, just get distance. I finally got back into the terminal. I went straight for the black cabs, got in one, and just drove off, and was like, holy fuck. I really feel like if I had have got into that car with that person, I wouldn't have gotten out, or at least I wouldn't have gotten out in the same way that I got in, you know. And I know it might sound crazy or like paranoid, but the fact is, so many women have gotten into cars thinking, it'll be fine, I'm just being paranoid, it's cool, and they've never gotten out of those cars. That's real shit. It's so important to listen to your gut, because fucked up shit happens all the time, you know. And I can't even believe I allowed myself to get to that point to go with this person. Like, you know, I told myself I wouldn't do that, and then I did it because I was like so excited and nervous to be in Heathrow. So moral of the story, keep your wits about you, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition. And it's not being paranoid. Bad shit happens in the world. You don't need to change your life and hide every day so that you don't get hurt, but there are things you can do to protect yourself. And if you're ever in a situation where you feel that it's a little bit sketchy, or the hair on the back of your neck goes up, or on your arms, and you get goosebumps, or you feel weird, just play it safe. Just get the fuck out of there. Take option B, option C, option whatever. And now thinking about it, like, I should have taken down his number plate and like told the police this, and I didn't even think of it at the time. I mean, it was just so like, oh my god, it just crazy, really crazy. So yeah, that's my story time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think I encountered like a serial killer? Do you think I'm just being like a paranoid person? If you like this story and you want to hear more story times, let me know in the comments. I am going to make some more videos regarding travel, because I still think travel is the best thing in the world that you can do, and I want to inspire you guys to go after it, even though I just gave you a massive warning to not get into cars with strangers. But that kind of seems like a no-brainer. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, do that. Every single one of my new subscribers motivates me and inspires me to keep making videos. So thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Feel free to share with your friends, share it on your social media, whatever you want to do. And mwah, thanks for watching.